the Golden State Warriors, 2022 NBA Finals champs. Winning the 2022 championship crowned them as one of the best dynasties the game of basketball has ever seen. Most people think Steph Curry led the Warriors, averaging 31.2 points per game, 6.0 rebounds per game, 5.0 assists per game in 6 games of the NBA Finals. But that's not the case. Players like Gary Payton, Otto Porter Jr., and Draymond Green were all key role players in the 2022 NBA Finals. Gary Payton is a key player in the Warriors 2022 Finals champion, averaging 7.0 points per game, 3.2 RPG, and 1.6 steals. 7.0 is not that many points, but he was contributing on the other end just to make up for that. He wasn't really, he was averaging 1.6 steals, 3.2 offensive boards, and that is really a key for the Warriors. So this 2022-2023 season, they've really been needing defense, and once Gary Payton has came, when the first game back, they played the Minnesota Timberwolves. They both scored less than 100 points. That's because the energy really just changes when Gary Payton's on the floor. He's really a big leader for the Golden State Warriors. So, yeah. Also, it does make sense because his dad, Gary Payton, was a defensive MVP in the 1996 year, I believe. And it's just every time Gary Payton is there, he's the biggest hustler on the floor. He works the hardest. He looks like he wants it the most. He talks, but he backs it up. And if you can talk and back it up, he's a really good player. Even though he's not averaging much on the offensive side, he's really contributing on the defensive side, which the Warriors really lacked this 2022-23 season. So if the Warriors get their healthy lineup, Gary Payton coming off the bench, you got Wiggins, Curry, Clay, Looney, Draymond Green, you got DiVincenzo coming off the bench, all pretty big stars in the NBA today, which having a healthy team, they're going to be really unbeatable like they were in the 2022 season when they won the finals. They blew through almost every team in the playoffs. I think they swept the Mavericks, or they only let up one game, and they beat the Grizzlies in Game 6. And then the Celtics and also beat them in Game 6. And it was because sorely a big contributor was Gary Payton. As you could see in that clip right there, he got that offensive board and just was able to put it right back up. Being a 6'3" guard like Gary Payton with his athleticism and everything, it's just very hard to do. And what he does is just crazy. He's like Curry, but if Curry could play defense. Curry's a better shooter, but Gary Payton still is a hot hand at some points, as you can see in this video I'm showing of these clips. He is a big, I'm not saying that he can't play offense, but he's just a better defensive player. Otto Porter Jr., another key player for the Warriors 2022 playoff championship. Otto Porter Jr. was averaging 8.0 PPG, 46% from the field, and 5.7 rebounds and 3 steals per game, and only 22 minutes played of each game. Otto Porter Jr. was an absolute hot hand. He was clutch. If you needed him to hit a shot, he'd hit a shot. If you go back and watch their game against the Phoenix Suns, you can look that up on YouTube. He knocked down 3 threes in a row, and they really needed that. So whenever you need, it will happen. Also, those aren't very big numbers. It's the second time you've heard that this video. Gary Payton, them, not big scores, but they are very big contributors to the other end of the court. The Warriors were different last year. They had Gary Payton, Otto Porter Jr., Draymond, all those players. But Otto Porter Jr., he was a defensive player. Like I mentioned, 3 steals, 5.7 rebounds. 3 of those rebounds were offensive, and he gets points off of those rebounds, and that's points to the team. And shooting 46.4 from the field, almost making half of his shots his takes. He is a very good mid-range shooter. And like I mentioned already, he is a very good three-point shooter. Draymond Green, another huge contributor for the Warriors championship in 2022. In 28.9 minutes, Draymond Green averaged 7.5 points per game, 7.3 assists, and 7.0 rebounds per game, while shooting 52.5% from field goal attempts. If you ask me what Draymond was, I would say he is one of the biggest leaders I've ever seen on a basketball court. Draymond Green switches the whole entire energy of the floor when the Warriors play. You can tell. When Draymond comes in, the energy comes in. He plays so intense that just everyone's affected by it, even the other team. Also, he is a very good perimeter shooter. He is as I said, 52.5 from the field. So that means he's making more than half of his perimeter shots, and he's just a great perimeter shooter. He's also, those numbers aren't that big. 7.5 points per game isn't that much. It's average. He's not really like a star anymore. But he's still a very good player and very talented. You've heard this like a million times. He is one of the big defensive players. He can just do everything on the defensive side. In some of these clips you can see he just steals the ball. He just knows how to jump passes. He's a good defensive rebounder. He is very good at like stopping penetrations, drove to the middle. He's just a good player all around. Also, Draymond Green has so much chemistry with Curry and Clay because he's been playing for so long. It's just, he's such a good player when he plays with them. He looks like one of the best players I've ever watched play whenever I watch him play with the kids that the people that he's played with for such a long time. He's also been really like being the Warriors leader, being one of the longest people to ever be on that team, I think, behind Iguodala. And he's leading the Warriors in like steals, blocks. He's just a very good defensive player for the Warriors. Just a heads up, these clips are not owned by me. The clip I used for Gary Payton is from NBA in 3 minutes. And Otto Porter Jr. and Draymond Green are both from NBA Advanced Stats. Go check out their channels. They produce awesome videos.